What up, y'all? DC Fago guy. Holy hell. It's been a little bit. Since I've made a video. It's been a little bit since I've done a What's Happening Now. Life happens. And that is what is happening now for me. And then life happens some more. I have a family member who has been fighting an illness. It's not been going great. So Megs and I have been helping out a lot with a lot of the things that normally this family member would take care of. And then on top of that, another family member is going through some health issues. So life is happening. Of course, work stays busy, so I just haven't really made a video. I've had this set up to make this episode of What's Happening Now for about a week and a half. Like I said, life was happening. So any real kind of chance I had to sit down and do a video, there really hasn't been much of a chance. So I want to thank anyone who's been patiently waiting. I haven't really had a lot of people reach out to me like asking what the fuck is up. I had one person kind of do that. But I do want to say thank you to all of my members, because through all of this time that I've not been uploading shit, you guys have stayed supporting. I've had one person that dropped off, and if anyone ever becomes a member and has to discontinue their membership, no hard feelings at all. I'm thankful that anyone would become a member to begin with. So I just want to say thank you to them and shout out to them, because they've continued to support the channel when I haven't really been doing much with the channel. So let's run through the list of everybody that is still a member right now. Crimson Black, Owen Battery, Joker Quinn, Gage Von Weil, Charmakazi, J-Word, Harley VT, Lone Flube, Don't Eat the Crab Dip, Juggalotus BD John, Seth Moon, Jose Jimenez, Durable Object, Kabazucha Boom, Lorgasm, Ivy Killa, Unique Freestyles, Do It For The Underground, and MP23. Again, thank you guys for your support. I can't even, beyond words, I can express how thankful I am for the support. And, if anyone would like to join the channel to help support it, there's a link in the description to do so. So yeah, thank you to you guys for continuing that support. A lot has happened. A lot is happening outside of my personal life. There's a lot going on. Some of this stuff is kind of old news at this point, because again, I've had this stuff ready to make a video and then I haven't. But what's happening now is less about the news and it's more about what's happening and kind of my reaction and my thoughts to everything that's going down. So leading this off, the biggest thing right now for me, you guys know I hop on Loki's nuts any fucking chance that I can. And his brand new Oracle, his brand new album, the Feeding of Neculai, as of you watching this, it might not be available everywhere for everyone on digital, but for those who are members of his Patreon, The Circle, you guys have been able to listen to the album, and it's absolutely fucking amazing. If you're familiar and you are not a member of The Circle, get ready, because this fucking Oracle is fucking dope. I've been listening to it nonstop. I've been keeping track of how many times I've listened to it, because I know we're approaching the end of the year. And the way that I try to do my top albums is I literally will pull up iTunes and see what all got listened to. I don't go so much by Apple Replay, because they track by the minutes you've listened versus how many plays. So I kind of take a factor of the two into and come up with a score. If you've ever watched my top albums, you kind of know. So I've been keeping track of how many times I've listened to the Feeding of Neculai, because I want to make sure that I'm doing that. Because right now, the only way to listen to it is to go to a specific website through his Patreon, sign in with your email through what you are signed up for Patreon, and there's a music player for you to listen to it. And there's really no way that you're going to be able to track that other than what I'm doing. And honestly, my numbers are just a little off, because a really cool feature to that website and a really cool feature for members of The Circle is Loki actually made it to where you can go and rearrange like track 2 through 9. It's a 10-track album. The first track and the final track are locked into place, but all the other tracks in between, you can mix them up. And it's created this really cool process of listening to the album. I've listened to it I listened to it 2 times with the track list that Low-Key revealed for everybody, and then I went through and I played with it. And then after a couple of times of that, I was like, I want to re-listen to it in the order he kind of put forth. And I'm really happy with the order he put forth, which I think is going to be the final track list. So the track list may change. If you follow Low-Key on any of the formats, you've seen him post that track list. That may change. It's basically anytime someone moves the orders around, that kind of counts as a vote for what the final track list should look like. And he also made it to where anyone who doesn't move them, that counts as a vote. And talking with Loke, he said there's a lot of people who haven't moved it. And, you know, I'm one of those. I didn't move it, then I did, and then I went back to not moving it. Honestly, this album is very fluid. And there's something promotional he put in the circle on Patreon that I went into this album, I went into this experience keeping in mind. It said there are 10 chambers that await you. The order in which you enter them, there is no wrong sequence. You can enter them in any order you want. That was before the album dropped and we knew we got to move tracks around. So I went into it knowing that no matter which order you listen to this album in, aside from the first and the intro and the last track, that this was kind of a fluid album in that way. And when you listen to it, you can kind of hear as each song starts, there's almost like, you can almost hear it in your head like, oh, this would make a good second track, or oh, this would really go good right before the final track plays. This album is very fluid in that way, and the concept of the whole Feeding of Neculai is really great. I'm going to save a lot of my thoughts for that for an actual review. I will be doing, I am planning to do a review over on Shadowland Universes, which is the YouTube channel that Loke created. I am part of it, and a few other creators are part of it. So I'm potentially going to be doing a review for that. And I know me, Robbie, and Gage, we do a podcast called Shadowland Offerings, and we've already talked about like wanting to do our thoughts on this album. So I don't know what's going to come first, my review or that podcast. They may drop close together. I don't fully know how that's going to work out. But the Feeding of Neculai is here. You can pre-order the CD right now. You can get a sweet shirt. And I'm telling you right now, if you're a fan of Low-Key, if you're a fan of the Oracles and you haven't been able to listen to it, you know, for whatever reason, when this thing drops, get ready because it's fucking amazing. So moving it on to Christmas events. We have our first one announced. A MonStar Christmas. Light is dipping his toe into the Christmas event game. We've had so many different people that do it. ICP, Twisted does it. Axe does one. Alla Xul Elu does one. Mob Style. Buckshot does one. Mob Style Christmas. I believe Anybody Killa has done a couple. I feel like even Scum kind of. I think he does one, doesn't he? Maybe. So Light is dipping his toes into it with a MonStar Christmas. There is a toy drive for the less fortunate. Entry is $20 and a toy donation with limited tickets available. Performing for this is Light, Project Born, Schizo, Corey Farmer, Meat Hammer, Siamese Goat God, Midwest Syndicate, and Histio? I don't know. But it's going down at Taylor's Tavern in Holly, Michigan. Which, when I saw that, I lit up because when Megs and I went to Lights Out this previous August, the tail end of August, we actually stayed at a campground instead of a hotel, and it was in Holly, Michigan. It was actually the Holly campground. Beautiful campground, potentially somewhere we want to aim to stay at again the next time we go to Detroit for an event. Absolutely fucking loved it. But Light is dipping his toes into the Christmas event game with his very first, I'm assuming this will become an annual thing with a MonStar Christmas. I want to put on note here at the time of me recording this, I'm recording this on November 6th. There has been the tease of Xul announcing their annual Xmas. So I'm sure by the time I drop this, Christmas events are going to really start popping off. And again, life is happening, so I don't know when the next What's Happening Now is going to take place. So just going to kind of put it out there that I may not be touching on all the little Christmas events, but I am aware that it's starting to roll out. And then moving it on, the next one on my list here, I have Billy Obey posting. So I've already got an EP pretty much finished, and I'm starting on another project, which I will work on in the background of LLE endeavors. This project will be all collaboration, and it's called blank 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 blank. So my question to you is, who should I collab with? And I bring this up, and I wanted to bring this up because of what I had previously said in other episodes, and I believe in my review for the rhyme book of the recently deceased, that Long Live Evil is in a great position right now to just keep dropping bombs. The Gods of Evil Rise album being held up is kind of a blessing in disguise, because they were able to drop that, and now they're going to have these projects ready to go to where they don't have to lose any momentum, you know. So I'm very fucking excited. Billy Obey's already got another EP pretty well wrapped up, working on another project that's going to be all collabs, which I'm fucking excited to get more details on that. I know for a fact that Lee Carver has an album that at this point I want to say is probably either finished or pretty damn close to it. They're teasing a new Xul project, no masters. I know that Super Famous Funtime guys have some things cooking. They just dropped a new single with Stray recently. LLE is cooking. And if you're a fan of them, you're going to be fucking eating. And I guarantee you're going to be eating good if you're a fan. So moving on from that, the really big news, and again, old at this point because it's come and it's gone. But Alla Xul Elu getting booked for Hallowicked was so fucking awesome. Like I had said, this is giving them the opportunity to really kind of keep the momentum going after Gods of Evil Rise dropped. I want to say, kind of in retrospect now, like going into this announcement, I was very excited for them. It was the biggest performance they had done. It's the biggest crowd they performed in front of ever. And I don't say that with any disrespect. I don't say that with any shade. You know, they've performed at the Gathering X amount of times, but that was a secondary stage. And I would even say, even if you have a main stage performance at the Gathering, I still don't think that that would be the biggest performance you would have. I still say that Juggalo Weekend or Hallowicked would be bigger if you got booked for those versus the Gathering. The reason I say this, how many people do you see or how many people do you hear say they don't go to the Gathering for the lineup? They go to interact with fellow Juggalos, right? The Gathering is a place where you don't have to go to every show. So just because you get booked for the Gathering means nothing. That means nothing as far as the biggest crowd you're ever going to be. If you happen to get main stage right before ICP, there's a good chance you're going to have a really big crowd, potentially. But if you're a daytime, if you're a second stage, if you're a third stage, if you're a late night, I don't think that that crowd's going to be anywhere in comparison to the crowd you're going to be performing in front of at a Juggalo Weekend or a Hallowicked. So this was their biggest crowd that they performed for. Going into it, again, I was super fucking excited for them because this was a really great opportunity for them. Lineup looked to me pretty fucking stacked. It was Ouija Mac, King Gordy, Trick Trick, and of course Alla Xul Elu. A lot of people were excited about Trick Trick being there, and of course speculations ran wild about Eminem. It's not gonna happen, right? I think there's a higher chance. They're about equal, actually. I was gonna say there's just as good of a chance of them reuniting with Twisted than I think of Eminem coming out and doing anything with ICP. There's no beef anymore there, but I think Eminem is in the same place that Violent J is with Twisted. Well, I wouldn't say that either. I would say that Eminem is in the same place that Shaggy 2 Dope is with Twisted. I don't even know if that's a good comparison because they both have been pretty vocal about fuck them. Eminem's not really on fuck them with ICP, but I also think that he's just in a place right now where he's going to do his own thing and he doesn't need to rub elbows with them at all. There's nothing that Eminem would gain from that. ICP is the only ones that would benefit from that kind of a situation. So I don't see that ever happening. I just don't. But people speculated, people got excited. My big takeaway, of course, was Alla Xul Elu being there. This is the gate open. Like, they're going to be back at the Gathering. Hopefully on a main stage. hopefully a decent time slot. And hopefully this is a relationship that's going to continue to go forward. Now, that's going to bring me to the next thing that happened at Hallowicked. Xul came out with some very familiar looking heads. They were props. They had some fun with them. They posted pictures before. They posted a video before. They posted them online after the fact. And I'm seeing a ton of mixed reviews. None of them are really neutral. There's a lot of fuck yeah, fuck Twisted. And an overwhelming, surprising amount of this is petty, blah, 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 blah. I was surprised by the amount of people that rallied behind Twisted and said that what they did was corny, or that went and said that it's petty. I was so surprised by that. Now, my thoughts and my takeaway on them doing that, I found the humor in it. I found the entertainment in it. I think that there's a lot of people in this beef with Xul and Twisted. You're either approaching it as a Twisted fan or you're approaching it as a Xul fan. I am approaching it as both. Like I had said a few years ago, I've forgiven Twisted for any hard feelings I had towards them. I've moved on from that. I'm cool with them. I enjoy their music. Them as businessmen, the whole Xul situation has shown me how they are as business people. But I also get it that it's business. So I'm very neutral when it comes to the Xul and Twisted thing. Is it shitty that Xul went through that? Yes. It's business, unfortunately, at the end of the day. I would have thought Twisted would handle things differently, being that they claim this is the kind of shit they went through with Psychopathic. But I digress on all that. So I'm very neutral when it comes to the Xul and Twisted thing. So when they did this, I saw the humor in it. I saw the symbolism in what they were trying to do. I'm looking at this to the next era. They have a new album that's going to be called, or that is called No Masters. It seems like the theme to that album is you have someone who worked for like a mask maker. I think is the theme from the sampler that they have put out at the gathering, as well as at Camp Xul. The theme to it seems very much of like destroying or killing your master, and you now have no masters and you're just free to roam and do whatever evil you want. That's the theme that I'm picking up on this album already, right? So to me, them coming out with these heads, while I see a lot of people saying that this is them trying to dick ride Violent J, this is them trying to whatever they're trying to do, maybe they're trying to do fan service, whatever. I don't see it that way. I see this as them, again, still expressing their dissatisfaction for how things were handled with them leaving the label and everything that happened with that. But I also look at this as kind of an entertainment symbolism to their next album, to their next era, which is No Masters, which I think is going to play very heavily into everything that happened with M&E, with them leaving M&E. So do I think it's a bad look? I didn't at first. Now that I see a lot of people's reaction and reception to it, I think going forward, I would hope that maybe those theatrics get downplayed a little bit and they don't continue to do it, because it, on a surface level, it looks like it's pandering. It looks like it's fan service, and it looks like, oh, you know what I mean? I can see why people feel that way. I can see why people think that, but I don't think that that's the case for me. I think that's them, again, airing out their grievances, and it's symbolic to me with their new album that's going to be coming out. So I thought it was funny. They had fun with it. It seemed like the crowd had fun with it, but you know, people online, they have their thoughts and their opinions, and typically people online are the loudest. So the best thing that I will say to anyone who is a Xul fan, don't go in the comments, because I've done that a few times. And going into comments is a guilty pleasure of mine. I like to read people's thoughts, because I like to try to think. I like to try to put myself in their perspective. Like, why do they think like this? How did they come to this conclusion? And at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that just have a toxic mindset, and there's not going to be any understanding, and definitely not going to be any reasoning with those kind of people. So, you know, if you're seeing the comments, the best thing you can do for your own sanity is to not engage, because there's no getting through to them. And that's with everything going on in the world, politics and all. So keep that in mind as you go out there. But yeah, kind of a short and sweet little bit of a what's happening now. But before we head out, let's hop into the collection plate.
Pass the collection plate. Show me how you give. Pass the collection plate.
As always, members get first dibs. If you are a member and you drop a My 2 Cents emoji in your comment, you will be brought to the collection plate. And if you are not a member, you can leave a super thanks to guarantee your spot in the collection plate, or leave a comment that I want to respond to, and then I will bring it to the collection plate. But if you want to guarantee yourself a spot, become a member, use the My 2 Cents emoji, or leave a super thanks. That is how you guarantee yourself a spot. So starting it off, we have Seth Moon that says, my mom just came up on a bag of money. Well, it's a money bag emoji, and was able to buy me 2 ICP shirts, 1 Twisted shirt, 1 ICP hoodie, and a Hatchet Man jersey, all from either Hot Topic or Spencer's, and drop less than $300. The mall is definitely the way to go these days for merch. Yeah, I feel that. Like, I think this is in a response to me saying I can't remember the last time I bought anything from ICP's website. I'm pretty positive the last time I think the last thing I ever got from ICP was the Beverly Kills and the Terror Will and Beverly Kills repress in January of 2024. I'm pretty positive that's the last thing I have ordered from ICP. Pretty sure. But hey, if you've got a Hot Topic or a Spencer's nearby and they're selling a shirt and you like the design, it sounds like that's the way to go if you want to buy you some shit and fucking rep ICP. I mean, they get a slice of it. They get a slice of that pie. A slice of that cheese. Moving on from that, we got Kabazucha Boom, who says, if they were making a Tunnel Runners Part 2 and DC Fago Guy can handpick one artist that wasn't on the first one, who would it be? Then he says, for me, it's Gruesome. I'm just a fan of his. And side note, someone should do a video of Tunnel Runners. Where are they now? That would be a cool project. I actually responded to him in regards to that last part and said that sounds like a project for Do It for the Underground. I then took a screenshot of it and I think I sent it to Robbie. And he had said he honestly hasn't really kept up with a decent portion of the Tunnel Runners that were on that project. So honestly, I think Seth Moon, Cali Green 2 Fresh, I think he would be a good one to do that for Carnival Spirits. I think that would be a really good video for him to do. As far as my hand pick of who to have in a part 2 of Tunnel Runners, I would probably firmly go with Gruesome on that. But I think I want to put a maybe lesser known artist on that category, and I want to say Stray. I think Stray would absolutely fucking murder it. I would love to see him on there. I'd love to see him get some shine. He's an artist that I definitely am keeping my eyes on, and you should be keeping your eyes on too as well. He's great. He's talented. He raps. He can fucking sing. Man, Stray is somebody who I think if he linked up with the right people, he would take off. Like, I could see him doing shit with artists from Strange Music. I could see him doing shit with artists from MNE. I could see him doing shit. There's a lot that I feel like Stray could do, and I would want to see him get that shine. So I'm gonna throw Stray in there as my one hand pick for if they did a Tunnel Runners Part 2. And look, DJ Clay is working on a Let 'Em Bleed Volume 5. Whether that leads to more mixtapes in the future or not, the hope would be that DJ Clay would start reaching out to some of these underground artists. My hope for the Let 'Em Bleed Volume 5 and potentially any other mixtapes that DJ Clay might do going forward are not going to be just Chapter 17 and Psychopathic Records artists. I'm hoping they will branch out and work with other underground artists like Kung Fu Vampire, maybe someone from Strange Music, someone from Long Live Evil, fucking Stray. I would want to see on that, work with artists from LSP. I want to see them outside of their bubble. I want to see these mixtapes really bring an element of like underground unity. That's my hope for Let 'Em Bleed Volume 5 and any future mixtapes that DJ Clay might do. So moving on from that, we've got Caden Hipper Music Movie Critic. He says, something I wish ICP did is make a compilation album for Deck 2. Since they finished the second deck of Joker cards, they might as well make an album with the best songs from each Joker's card. Take about 2 to 3 songs from each album, from Bang Pow Boom through to The Knot. An album with songs from all of those would be amazing. Honestly, I don't see them doing something like that. I think that we're in an age now where digitally, so many fans can just do that. They can make their own playlists and do things like that. That I don't think that there's a necessity for ICP to really put out a best of album. I think that'd be a really cool idea to do that. But again, playlists are, I mean, we're in a time right now where that is something very capable for fans to do for themselves. So I don't think there's a lot of money to be made in them investing to press up CDs that are, you know, a compilation of greatest hits. I just don't see them doing that, and I don't see that ever happening. So it would be a cool idea, but again, it's very, very doable right now with people just making their own playlists. Then we got Alex64 Gaming, who says, I really wish Twisted would have done something different for Fright Fest. As much as I love Freak Show, they have such better albums, plus HOK, like, what happened? I would have liked to see a Man's Myth or Wicked show. Exactly. I don't want to keep drilling in my hatred. Not hatred. My dislike of Freak Show. It's a good album. It's just nowhere near their best. And they've hammered this thing into the ground so much with a 10-year anniversary, 15-year anniversary. I'm pretty sure they did one for 20 years as well. I don't think they did anything for their 10-year, rather. But I know they definitely did for 15. I feel like they did for the 20-year. And now here we are, the 25th anniversary, and they're doing it again. We are looking at the 20-year anniversary of Man's Myth and Mutant. They did nothing for it. Not a goddamn thing. Not a repress. Nothing. They didn't re-record it. Like, instead of doing Freak Show, they could have re-recorded Man's Myth. I don't know. There's things that I just don't know where their priority is. And I know that they've made posts like, we're focusing on the future, but then they're not focusing on the future. I don't think Twisted knows what they want to do. I would absolutely love to see them focus a little bit on HOK stuff for a little bit. I think Welcome to Your Funeral flopping the way that it did. Not for me. I love that album. I would love to see them tour that album. Obviously, their fan base didn't really receive it very well. They're still pressing out variants for the motherfucker, but they're not touring it. They're not performing it, which doesn't make sense to me. You're trying to you're trying to push a product that you're not performing. So what are we doing? Why are we doing it? I would kind of like for them to just kind of hit pause on Twisted right now and do some HOK stuff. I thought they had lightning in a bottle with 31. I thought they were going to ride that momentum for a little bit. They put out Shit to Make Your Ears Bleed to like coincide with it. Great compilation of all of the modern HOK tracks from different projects that they put out. And then they did the remix album, I think in December of last year. I thought that they were going to go down the path of kind of riding the wave of HOK. And they started to. They put out that Legacy Collection box set for Home Sweet Home. But I think they really kiboshed that by making it one big box set where you got the CD, a shirt, and all this other stuff that nobody really wanted. I didn't want it. If they would have pressed just the CD, I would have bought just the CD. If they would have done a box set of all of the HOK albums and call it the Legacy Collection, I would have bought that. But they didn't. They put out this box set, weekend only bullshit that just had a lot of extra shit I didn't want, I didn't need. And I feel like a lot of people that I talk with and that are in kind of my circle of people that I talk with felt the same way. So I really felt like they had lightning in a bottle with HOK, dropping 31 last year. But they kind of popped the cork on it and let it go. And now it feels like it's gone. So I just don't know where Twisted's head at, and I don't really know where they go from here. And then ending it off with Jam Up Guy, who says, are Twisted begging to come back to ICP's good graces between Mono posting them on IG and Jamie holding up ICP merch at Hot Topic? It just looks like desperation, and ICP is shutting them out in the cold. I don't think so much that they're trying to come back into ICP's good graces. To me, it's definitely not a great look. Like, I don't get excited when I see them do it anymore. I guess I never really kind of did. What they did for the Green Book show where they played their verses, that to me was cool because it was like, hey, You know, we haven't forgotten our legacy, right? At one point, it felt like they were trying to erase that. And I've made videos about this, you know, where they were repressing Mutant, taking the Hatchman off, when they repressed the Green Book and took the Hatchman off. To me, it felt so much like they were kind of erasing that legacy. So to see them perform and play Violent J's verse and all that, to me was like a really good sign of like, hey, we haven't forgotten. With them doing all of this, I think Humble Among called it clown signaling. Them doing this, to me, it has no effect on me. And a really good example I have for this, and I don't remember who I said it to, I remember very vividly in my mind when the Marvelous Missing Link Lost dropped. There was nothing from Twisted. No congratulations, nothing from them. Like a month or two later, Tech9 dropped special effects. And they posted on their social media that they went into a store and they bought it, more or less congratulating him on the album. And I remember when that happened, it didn't sit well with me because that was pre-beef. That was in 2015. And it felt like this weird, awkward dynamic of like, what's going on between ICP and Twisted? Why are they showing so much love to Tech9, but they haven't done shit for ICP? At that point in time, that's where my head was, is what's going on between these two? At that year's gathering, we would find out that Boondocks was no longer with Psychopathic. Jay would go say that he was signed to MNE. Mono would go on a live and say that's not true, and Violent J is just pulling his punches in where he can, creating more awkwardness and tension that, you know, eventually boiled up at the end of 2016 and early 2017. So I had thoughts back then of like, they're showing love to other artists, but not the artists that they were with for, what, 15 years? So back then it was kind of weird, and it was like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So to see them do it now, it does look sad because like they didn't do that previously. And for me, it's not that I think that they're hurting financially, because I think that they're not. I don't have that mentality. I know a lot of people do, which is, it's a toxic mentality. And honestly, it's just an idiotic one, because they're continuing to do events. They're continuing to put out albums. They're still running their label. To think that they're hurting financially is just stupid, because they're not. That's just such an idiotic mindset to look at what they're doing and they're able to continue to do and say, well, they're hurting for money. That's not what I think it is. I think they're at a place where they want to reconnect. Whatever the motivation is for it, I think that they want to reconnect, and they're doing all these things to like show, hey, we're ready to make amends, which I feel like the ball has been in ICP's court for a while. I think Twisted, they were doing things leading up to the split that just, it felt weird and awkward, and it felt like, what's going on? There was definitely tension, and it felt like it was from Twisted's end. It felt like they weren't happy and they were wanting to distance themselves from ICP. The split happens, they kind of both went about their business, and now we're getting to a point where it's like Twisted wants to make amends. So I don't know what's going on in their lives that is making them look at life with this new perspective of like, hey, we need to make amends. Like, and I'm a big firm believer of forgiveness is great, whether you forget or not. You know, but for yourself, just to let go of any anger or ill feelings you have, I think that forgiveness is very important for someone. So I don't know if that's just what they've had and now they're wanting to reconnect. I don't know. I don't know what their motivation is for it, but I don't think it's something that should happen. Definitely not right now. I don't know if ever. I don't know. But I don't think that Twisted are begging to come back to ICP's good graces. I think that they're wanting to make amends, maybe. Whether that leads to them wanting to try to do shows and collaborations in the future, I don't know. Maybe just so that the Juggalo world knows that everything is all good, so that they can coexist like ICP and Eminem do. An example from earlier in the video. I'd like to see it get to that point where they can coexist like ICP and Eminem do. So, but I think that is going to do it for this episode of What's Happening Now. Again, shout out to our motherfucking members. If you would like to become a member, link is in the description to go join the channel to become one. And if you leave a comment with the My 2 cents emoji, you will guarantee yourself a spot in the collection plate. Otherwise, you can leave a comment down below and tell me what you guys think about what's happening now. Peace.